Hello, everyone. Welcome to the dialogues at the 23rd edition of the Vancouver Latin American Film Festival. My name is Christian Sida. I am the programming the director, and the festival takes place at the unceded territories of the Coast Salish people, these beautiful lands. And we also like to remind you that this dialogue and all the dialogues at the festival are presented by Peliplat. Peliplat is a platform where you can write your reviews. You can watch this film and then write a review at Peliplat. This film is Lázaro de Noche, Lázaro at Night. We're very pleased to have one of the actors of that film with us today, an actor that's been in our screens many, many times. Lázaro at Night, it's the 11th feature film by Nicolás Pereda. Nicolás Pereda had lived in Vancouver for a while. He was a professor at Simon Fraser University, so many people knew him in Vancouver. I think we showed probably all the films from Nicolás Pereda since Perpetuum Mobile. That's how I knew. That's the first time I saw something from Nicolás, or I knew he existed, or you, or anybody from that banda. And since then, I've been working in this festival, so I've been showing every film. And that film is screening September 8th at 6 p.m. at the Vancouver Cinematheque. Hope to see you there. And I'm very pleased because we have one of the actors of the films, Lázaro Rodríguez, who is also, I guess, why the film is titled Lázaro at Night. Maybe you've seen him at the Vancouver, one of the films, maybe you not, but he's a very well-known actor in Mexico in cinema, but also, and most important, in theater, because he's a theater actor, also a director, a screenwriter. And he's part of this gang of actors that have worked with Nicolás Pereda for these 11 feature films and another short films. That's one of the unique things in the way this director works, is that he has always worked with the same group of actors, and sometimes they have different guest actors. But it's very interesting that all of his works have been with the same team. I was gonna introduce you, Lázaro, but I want you to introduce yourself, to tell us a bit of who you are to the Vancouver audience. Bienvenido, welcome, Lázaro.
Gracias. Thank you for having me. And well, yes, no, I think you made a great introduction. I'm mainly an actor, and most of my career in cinema has been developed with Nicolas in these 11 films, and and yeah, what is interesting for me and maybe for the audience also, I hope so, is that these films has been some sort of mirror or of our real life, let's say. So it's not that I in Nicolas films I had a character like we traditionally understand what a character is that I perform somehow myself in a situation that is invented by Nicolas, but what happened in our real life, let's say, inform the scripts. So to give the audience a very clear example, is that before 2019, my name was Gabino, and at some point I decided to change my name to Lázaro, and I changed my face and so on. But this film, Lázaro de Noche, is the first film where I appear as Lázaro, let's say. So there's a lot of let's say this real life change, let's say have informed the film and make the film evolve in different directions. So it's a mixture of how fiction and reality cross to each other and how one inform the other, but 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 it's not only the real life inform fiction, because also the fiction inform our real life somehow, something around these ideas.
Thank you for that, because that was a very clear example. You know, what these films are, exactly what you're saying, this reality feeding from fiction and vice versa. And in this film specifically, Lázaro at Night, Lázaro de Noche, which also tells, that was a question I was going to tell you, it also tells, you know, it plays with what you say, you decided to change your name, to change your face, and now you're Lázaro, and that's how you are known now to, you know, in the milieu, in the world that you develop yourself as an actor, where people know you now, people call you Lázaro. You change, now in the credits of the film you're Lázaro. So thank you for that example, so people can understand now. This is part of the jokes in the film, which I like that Nicolas and these films are becoming, sometimes are funnier, and that's, I like that part, that we can laugh with those things in this very subtle way. And in this film, it's a group of actors. This actually is a film that is more, I don't know if more real. I don't know if there are experiences that happen to you, but you are an actor, because in other films you don't act as an actor. In Perpetuum Mobile, in the first film I saw of you, you guys were doing movings. You guys were helping people to move out of apartments. You were movers, and now in this film you are actually actors. So you perform yourself, and then the film has a twist to an Aladdin history, and then it develops to a dream, let's say, right?
Yeah.
So how was it to work in this film, in the sense that now you are playing more yourselves in that way, especially you, and how are, in the sense, does Nicolas give you a script, on how does it work in terms of the script?
Yeah, Nicolas always work with a script, and then we more or less try to do whatever we want until he said like, please stop, go back to script, and then we go back to script. But everything is, let's say, scripted in well, yeah, in the beginning of the film. But I think what is interesting is this idea of actors performing actors, and this thing began in his previous film that was called Fauna. And in Fauna, one of our colleagues, Francisco Barreiro, um, he has this Francisco Barreiro made a character in the TV series Narcos, and but has a let's say in the first season he has this role that he never speaks, but well, he made it because of the money and so on and so on. So Nicolas was very intrigued by this situation that he has like an actor that has a 7 month work, super well paid, but he has no even one fucking dialogue. So then he made this film in Fauna where there is like this comedy of this actor uh, arriving to meet the parents
Your
of
friend.
the girlfriend, yeah, and then all this comedy that happens, that he is known as an actor, but he has no dialogues and so on and so on. But then Nicolas Fauna was a film that the people really, let's say, enjoy. In Nicolas can be sometimes his films can be, let's say, not tough for the audience, but a bit challenging sometimes. And Fauna was really, really, really soft, really gentle with the audience. People love it. Everybody laughs. Everybody's happy. But then Nicolas get a bit. He's not happy when people is too happy. So then he made this film Lázaro de Noche that has a first part where three actors has this romantic triangle or something like this, that is Luisa Pardo, Francisco Barreiro, and I, and is this comedy of actors that are whatever, doing the things of an actor, the things actors we does or we did or whatever we does in our life. And then this has this second part that it's about the moment where these three actors met each other and was in a literary um, like workshop or something. And then it has this third part that is about one of the exercise that one of the characters wrote about Aladino. And then the film, let's say, start to leave the first part, to leave the story. The film plays a story and then leave it behind, and then leave it behind. So I think it's a very enjoyable part, all the first part, and then start to be more creepy and more creepy, and ends in a very, let's say, creepy, in a good way film.
And do you agree with me that the Fauna, that we also show Fauna in Vancouver either last year or the year before, so maybe someone saw it here in Vancouver. Do you agree with me that Fauna and now Lázaro at Night are like in a different, they're like start a new way of Nico's films? I don't know, like
Yeah,
shape. I don't know how to say it. It's like a different. It's taking off in another direction. Do you agree?
absolutely, absolutely. No, totally, definitely. And I think, and I'm not, I don't think, I'm sure he's also aware of this because Nicolas produce very fast his films. He filmed. So after this one we made that we are showing now in Vancouver, Lázaro de Noche, we made another two films already. One
Okay.
that is called Cobre that I think has already premiered,
It's gonna
and then
premiere at San Sebastian Film Festival.
I think something like
Yeah, yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah. It's been announced. Yeah.
And then we have another one that is called something about noise. I forget the title, but well, uh, like Nico's really moving forward in this new direction. That it's a direction that has, in my opinion, too. It's embraced more the comedy itself because what I really like is like we move towards comedy, and it's quite rare that a art house director, let's say, like assume himself as someone that makes, comic films. But I think is what it's really going towards that way, and Nico is already embraced this new identity of a director that is not only with his artistic ideas and so on, but also it's someone that makes laugh or trying to make laugh people. And yeah, so I think he embraced a lot of the comedy, but also has pushed more deeply forward or more, let's say, push more these ideas about the representation and about the the discussion of the art itself inside the film. In Fauna was about how to represent the narco situation in Mexico and how Mexico is portrayed to the to the world through these stories of El Chapo and so on and so on. And then in Lázaro de Noche, it's about how we build, let's say, fictional material. And Aladino, it's the example of how we build these ideas of a fabula.
Fable. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I also wanted to ask you, Lázaro, what about thinking if these films and thinking on these films to are like to be like theater? How do you see Nicolas films in terms of, how they are like to theater? Because you're, as I say, you're more important a theater actor, a screenwriter for theater. So do you see I'm losing my English. Similitudes. You think there are things that are similar between these films and and thi-
Absolutely. No, yes, 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 because with Nicolas, um, Nicolas has a very fixed way to film. He never cut different planos during the same scene, so he's not like
yeah,
a normal, like, you have the shot of the guy talking, then the shot of the girl, and then you cut it, and then you make the conversation. He always make
one
one
shot, one
camera.
take of him.
Exactly. It's only one camera position for the whole scene. And we already knew that. But sometimes it's very complex because the camera moves. Sometimes the actors we move and then we change, let's say, the value of the frame. Sometimes we get closer and then we set things so it's a close up, and then we move back and then it's a full shot and so on. But he always filmed just one shot, let's say. So it's, let's say, like a theater scene. In some way, for the acting, for us as actors, it's more to develop a situation, like it's for the camera, but you know that you will run from the beginning to the end, and it will be what you act. Because when you act, or when I perform with other filmmakers, that you know that they will cut and make different. You don't know what the hell they are gonna do with the material, and then you need to. It's a complete different situation because then you give reactions that they can put wherever they want somehow. And with Nicolas, you know that the acting is in the scene itself, that it will not be constructed meaning while in terms of meaning after you deliver your performance somehow.
And is it easier for you as an actor working in this way, or is
Uh,
somehow
I
you have a
think
different perspective? Or
I feel more comfortable because it's a typical experiment of Kuleshov, like the Russian this guy that this guy in the beginning of the 20th century he made this experiment that uh, he shot the face of a man and then he cut it with a beautiful woman. He cut the same shot of the face with a baby crying, and then the audience, let's say the people that saw these shots put together, when the man saw the beautiful woman, the audience interpret that the man has desire, let's say, or when he see a soup, but it's the same face. So in the films, a lot of meaning is constructed by how you put together two shots, not necessarily because or it's about what you make as an actor. But in these films of Nicolas, you know that the meaning it will not be constructed like this. Of course, change if he put a scene before or after, or but you feel more you feel more confident of what you are doing. It would let's say it would yeah, it would be what you are doing somehow.
and this makes less manipulation of the audience, or what do you think? Or
I think it's the yeah, I think it's a little bit less manipulation. Always is manipulation of the audience, and I think is this is the beautiful thing of cinema somehow, like to try to manipulate the audience, and we as spectators, as audience, when we go to a film, I think, or at least I want to be manipulated, and I we as professionals, let's say, we know and we heard that the movie, the song is starting, and we all already know how the tricks of the films work in order to make us feel something, and it's very cruel when they want to make me cry, and I'm actually crying. It's horrible, but it's always about how to manipulate, yeah, the meanings, the attention, the ideas, the feelings of the audience somehow.
and just to finish, what do you prefer, a theater or films, or you don't mind, or it's a different way of playing?
It's a different way. It's always because film it's very different in terms of so what Nicolas does or what you as a director also does, it's completely different. It can be the same thing what that was whatever Iñárritu is doing. Is we call both cinema, but are so different that we can also not compare it somehow. So I'm very lucky somehow that I have been working with independent filmmakers for such a long time, and I really appreciate that way of working uh, because there's something that it's less rigid. There's less people on the set. You can throw ideas and nobody get ruined. But if you're in a very big production, everything is so fixed, everything is so expensive, everything is so shifted or whatever, I don't know how to say it, stiff. So it's very difficult to move. And then what I like more of the theater and of this kind of cinema is that we are able to shape what we are doing while we are doing it. And I really enjoy that thing that moment of being with some friends and has an idea and try to be creative and try to make something that is meaningful for everybody in this space and hopefully meaningful for the audience when they see it.
Well, Lázaro, muchas gracias. Thank you very much for this chat. I hope people really enjoy it and they go and buy a ticket to watch this film on September 8th at 6 p.m. at the Cinematheque. Is there anything you want to add about this film or about life?
No, well, no. Congratulations for a new edition in the festival because yeah, I think when you start with this festival, the world was very different than is today, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
think today everything that it's a bit I don't know, everything looks like it's in risk and everything looks like it can end tomorrow, even in Mexico, even in Canada, in the States, well, of course, but even in Europe. So everything feels so fragile in terms of these spaces that I think it's worth it to congratulate for 1 year more.
Gracias, compañero.
No, pues ánimo.
Yeah.